HTML file and I. Huh?
Astronauts can see that.
Octonauts can see that.
Astronauts.
Okay.
Astronauts.
Whatever you assigned. ID. Yeah, I know what you're saying. M1. Okay, so we have an HTML file which has got an img tag in it, and I've just put apple.jpg. We will probably bring an image in a minute, and the ID is im1. Is that okay? So I'm going to create another JavaScript file, save, and I'm calling it image toggle because I've called it that. So I have got this file. Do you want me to do two buttons first, or we are just directly going with one button?
On and off. Let me change the text on the button to on and off.
Yeah, we can do that as well. So we are going with one button. Is that okay? Is that all? Is that agreeable to all? We're only making one button, which is toggle, right? We are not making two buttons to say hide and show. We're just making one button, which will hide and show. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So input type button, and then obviously we'll change that to timer. Value is equal to height. Click. Is that okay? So I've created one img tag which is called im1, and there is a button which is called button1, and on click of this we're going to call a function called as show height. Is that, yeah? Can I go to the JS file? Yeah? Okay. So variable, yeah. Yep.
Do you have the image?
Yeah, when it is 0, it becomes 1, and else part means it's 1, it will become 0. So it goes vice versa on one by one. Sorry, what did you say, Adrian?
Do you have the image?
Um,
That one, JPEG, you have it?
oh, it's fine. You still see something, so to some extent, so the whole IMG tag will disappear, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You can,
So you, even if I don't have the picture, you still see a cross, and if that cross will also go away. So I'm not really worried about the picture basically. So I'll get that anyways, but
it's about the functionality.
yeah, it's about the function. And they're lighting. I again get the image, but so that's your HTML. Do you want to put? Should I go to JS? Okay.
It should be the other way around, like, if it's zero, should be blocking things. Because the starting point should be zero.
If you put this x1,
Or that.
it's either way, isn't
Right
it?
now, if you leave it like that, okay, just try to run it.
It'll work. I'm just waiting for.
Oh.
Should I run this? Yep. Okay, file and save. Also want to make sure that it is HTML is not saved. Yeah. Oh. I think it's the same file which has got saved as, yeah. There is a name. Yeah. So it's saved now. We need an apple, isn't it? I have a default .jpg. I'm just going to change that name here.
Oh, okay, Control Z because you did it like
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my button is so tiny and my image is so big.
You can give it a size. Into the story.
I think that's what is that open up by default.
Oh.
It's gone. Comes back. Click on. Right, but what I want to do is that I want the message to change on the button one as well. I can do that as well. No, because it's a button. It's just going to be value.
Okay.
So why did you choose this?
Oh, just because I'm adding this line because this. When you go here and you run this, it still says hi.
I need to
I want to say show, isn't it? So now when I say that, I want it show. Now the message will change show. So when your picture comes back, it says hides. So show and hides. The message on the button is changing as well. Does that make sense? Because my button one is a button, I can't use inner HTML. Inner HTML is only for tag. Tags have inner HTML. If it's a button, then the word is value. Text boxes, anything has got value. Right? If it's a paragraph or a div or any other tag, then you would use inner HTML. Because it was a button, I could just use value. I'm sorry, I think I changed something in the wrapping and I don't know what it has done to the whole code. Not working? Nothing.
It's work, it just doesn't look like a button, right?
It John doesn't look like a button.
John?
When you say doesn't look like button, what does that mean?
No, I mean, drawing, it's just imagine.
There's no value on it.
No, I put originally input. No, it's okay. It's button, right?
No, it's input.
Yeah, I put in
Type. Type, not style. It's all right. Yeah. I know you know the stuff, so you still should be ready. Working on it. Try changing this, use the same function, but can you just use, instead of using display here, use visibility. Instead of using this property display, can you write down visibility hidden and here visibility visible? I want you to see the difference in the look. Sorry. Visibility. This can be written down like as visibility and the value will be hidden, and then yeah, depends. We just letting you know because it depends on how do you want it to. So instead of using display, try using this and see what does what. I like the drawing. I like the drawing you're doing.
So instead of value show and value hide, we use alpha. Because if you do something else, it is not after. And this is still all about it. Yeah, that's working. Yours should work as well. But it's just that I have to give you the same names. To your HTML, do you have the same names? Try not now. It was just that thought was practical. It's just not coming back. The message is changing. Starting display. Toby also is working? No. Function's not getting called. Come on.
Don't want to take too much.
Because you said function show high.
And then not achieving anything.
start working. This is the text box. You created a text box. Is that? I have one, I have a button, and my Let's go to your ministry. Here, there's a mistake there. It's so bad. Take this feature. Take this. No, this one. That was fine. No, this one. And one you.
I thought about it's much interesting than the other one. I don't know whether it's
Why is it a text box?
more real, recent, or more that you can
Because
apply it.
again, you've not put the
You can apply it. So yeah,
inverted comma. It's missing.
check this out, guys. And now they started putting videos, which they didn't, which is more interesting.
Go back to your code. New PPT. Go back to your
We have image functions.
Your bracket, your if bracket is
Don't go
missing.
where you have the code.
Missing things else and else and there's another bracket. That's your function. So it should be your
And which code is here, which is import. Here, the code is here.
if has a bracket and else is the bracket and function has a bracket. Sorry, the start bracket for the function. This is a start bracket for if. This closes here. And you have else and you have curly bracket and curly bracket and that's your function. Match it. The message is not changing now because you let's see why it has stopped.
This is supposed to be in JavaScript.
It was I by I. B
Go.
capital.
Hi, it's not shown. There is shown. Another letter. Then it's coming.
What's on? The function's not wrong. But if you go basically the message only
Goes in the
this
first
only do one.
Yeah, but else.
Because he's not changed the x value. Yeah, no, he's not changed the x value. So x should be turned to 1.
Oh, yeah. Right, but we might check.
You didn't put x value is not changing to 1.
X equals
You do basically it's only doing 1. 1, 0. 1, 1.
X equals
After that, it's not coming. Do 1, is working, but no. But what I don't understand is why if this is high, why do we put high on here in this one? No, this is what you're making it hidden. This is when you're writing on the message. Yeah. Because you wrote this one, that's why. This is I. You wrote this second one.
Don't know problem.
Now you come.
Oh, you
So
can
when
use
they
it.
run, they only run this one, this one.
Complex one.
I don't know. This one was run. That's yes, why the message was come back. Yeah, it didn't come back because it couldn't come back. I see. Yeah. In this case, so what is happening is the button doesn't move its place. In the other thing, the button was moving.
Have you seen the difference? By using this visibility, your button stays at the same place and the picture goes off and on. But if you use this one, then the button keeps moving. So it's up to you which one do you want to use, but the both are easily workable and they both work the same. Nothing should, I mean, it's not that one will stop working. It will be exactly the same, but if you want to retain the position, usually when you're doing something, then you want to retain the place. You want the button to stay where it is and the picture to just go away.
Yeah, that's true. Right? No.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, now look. What if I want to do this 100 times and then stop?
The time. It's a time again.
No, but I want to do this thing 100 times. Should just keep happening. Right? Now the loop is when you want something to keep happen. I mean, you want to do the same thing 100 times, 10 times, 20 times, 5 times, right? Then we use loops. But the difference between loops and timer is when you do a loop, there is no wait. It will go from 1 to 100 like that. But when I want something after certain number of seconds, then you are saying you're going to use timer, then you're not going to use loops. Is that okay? Do you understand my point? So loops is always used if you wanted to do something continuously. But whenever you are doing something continuously also, you still have to put an endpoint. You always have an endpoint. Like it's just like looking at the concept. You want to fill a bucket with water. You open the tap. You keep checking whether the bucket is full. Then you run the tap, but you have to keep checking whether the bucket is full or not. So you will always keep checking that. That's something which a loop is. But if you're saying something after 2 seconds or after 3 seconds, then it's not loops, it's going to be always timed. So loops concept is there, but in actual functioning, we use loop very limitedly. Does that make sense? Do you understand? I mean, they are not used for this animation a lot. The timer is much something which is used more. Because you always do something with the effect of seconds or time, not continuously. Okay? So, but let's take an example. I'm just comparing. Remember we were looking at comparing 3 numbers. But there were 6 numbers, or there were 8 numbers, or there were 9 numbers. How will you compare those 9 numbers? There will be a lot of ifs, right? There will still be a lot of ifs. But then computer does not use the comparison of like I'm not going to take one variable and keep using it with all. Then all those 9 should be put in an array collection. And then you just pick up one and go and compare with all of them. But you're going to repeat that procedure with every element. We use for because for is quicker. Before you know, it will have picked up the variable compared with all of them without you even knowing. Is that right? There's no time concept there, so you would probably be using for and if together because you're comparing 2 values. But for is just to go from first number till the 10th number. So there's a difference. The loop is if you want to do some task number of times, whether it is comparing also. But let's say you wanted to compare it 10 times, 20 times, you put a loop that I don't have to do it myself. Computer will just do it for you, right? In this case, in this code, how do I bring up timer now? We need to bring up a timer here that this function should get called not on click but on timer. Is that right? So what we need to do is the first step would be to take this on click out. Is that right? Yeah, we don't need it. So I'm going to just make a save as. Is that okay? And I'm going to call this also one file, save all, and this one file. I'm just making a copy of that file so that you know. Now here I need to take this on click out because I don't want it to be done on click. There's no need for onload. On this, what if you have written this down? Can you call this function yourself first time. If you write on show height, will computer call this function? But then if that means this function will get called automatically as soon as the page loads. Is that right? So what I can do is I can write down here set time out. I want this function to be called after 2 seconds. That function tells you to call a set timeout is a timer. So you're setting up a timer and you're telling this function should be called after 2 seconds, right? Because it takes time as milliseconds. Yeah. Now this will call this function once, but you want it to be called every 2 seconds, right? So what you do is you copy this line within the function just before finishing.
So you put it twice. So it's
Yeah.
First one to start it, that after 2 seconds it should call it, right? But then every time you call it, it sets the next timer. Because set timer out only calls something once. Set time out is setting a timer once. After 2 seconds this should happen, right? But because you put it in show height, before finishing it will set a new timer every time. So after every 2 seconds this function will get called automatically. Does that make sense? So
After that, the time will be the same or just
Yeah.
from beginning?
no, it's just going to be 2 seconds for
I mean, from starting and then you run like normal.
it'll just keep running, yeah.
Indefinitely.
Indefinite, it'll just keep running. Is that okay? So if I just run this file, I've closed that. Nobody knows how to run it from Sublime.
Yeah, this was my question.
There is, I know there is you can run it from the side, but I don't have that bar and I don't know, I just can't find.
Tools.
I know it is tools, but which one? I've tried.
Field.
It's not build. It's not build.
Should be something.
I don't know what button, because there's no tool. When I click something, nothing comes up. Does that make sense? I wanted that toolbar which comes on the side, but I just can't happen to get it. It just doesn't come back. I've tried. I don't know how many times I've tried. Sidebar doesn't look.
I mean preference.
I won't waste my.
Like file preferences.
There's no file. Usually preferences is in here, but nobody knows, right? We've all used it with it being at the side, but I can't see it. I have tried status show. I've not spent that much of time. Ruler, no, there's nothing. It's just not there. Does that make sense? I don't know why. Because the older tools. It's not there. I don't know where that is. But then preferences may be.
Set.
It's syntax. It
Go
doesn't.
on settings. Preferences.
I will not close this window now. That's what I'm going to just do. I don't know. Image toggle timer.
That's more than 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But it's still
Right
there.
click. On high.
It won't work. We've taken on click out.
And anyway, we don't need the button anymore because
Yeah, we don't need the button anymore. But it's not doing anything, so I'm just thinking that I've not saved the file.
No.
No, in that case, let's put this.
Go back to the
1 minute. Is set.
Did you write like on road or something?
We can, but I'm just thinking I've not made a mistake in set timeout.
It seems like
Is it O0?
try to. Oh,
Yeah, O was small.
Yeah.
It's fine. Obviously, we don't need a button. We can just take the button out. It's no purpose. So the code will change altogether. But so you don't need this. You don't need this line. You don't need a button. So
Yeah.
let's take the button out.
At least it says what's going on.
Yeah,
I
you
show,
can
I
write
show.
like,
Yeah, it just say what's going on. But if you want to do that on your page, it depends on whether you want that on your. I mean, obviously, if you reduce the time, I said 2 seconds. If you make it 1 or make it 200, it'll go like that. It'll go blink effect, isn't it? If I reduce the timing, do you understand my point? I mean, it depends on how much time have you set.
When overseas.
at least how.
I mean, this is blink effect,
Yeah.
but it is.
So you can use this for ads.
You can.
Well, if you want to drive someone crazy,
But it's up to you. You know what you can call. Let's say something is happening automatically. There are a number of things. Look, I have done this with the. Let's say this was a function which is happening. There was a picture or there was an advert which was coming, right? This is something which is happening repeatedly, but you don't have. You might want an advert in the first. After 6 seconds of opening the page, you want that advert to go away. That's all. You're not calling that function repeatedly, but you're setting a timer to call a function after 6 seconds or 10 seconds. So that makes an.
the ad would disappear like easy.
Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say is, but then that could be done. That you can set different things which come up at different times. If person has stayed 10 more than let's say 20 seconds on the page, you want a message box to come up, or you want a screen to come up, or you want something else to come, it'll come up, and it'll go away after some time. But set timeout function is helpful to set up number of things which you want to happen on your page. Is that? You want different divs to appear on a page at different times, randomly. Does that make sense? So you have your HTML page. You've decided different divs, and they're just coming up automatically and going away. Does that make sense? Which is different. Just obviously
Position.
every function.
Yeah.
But how do you set the chain?
The ID.
Yeah, every time it's running, change to different picture.
Where is the picture?
That you said now is a few pictures different, right? And there is one and then another. So you need to.
Should we do that?
Why not?
Different images, and you want them to come at different. I mean, after every 2 seconds, some other picture comes up at various places. Because you would have set the location. I mean, they're all there on the page, but they're just different coming. Okay, should we do that now, or you want to go for lunch first? Because then we won't finish before 1:30. Go for smaller lunch. Eat something. Go for a smaller lunch. Should we not? I should not be recording this.